I wanted to share sort of my engineering background with you. Okay, I worked as a fucking engineer, all right, before I went into this. I think I know this. I also like to mess around with technology. I myself used to be an engineer before I went to the video editing route.
The interesting thing about this whole YouTube stuff is it actually made me change my entire career choice. So now that is my field of choice. Now I work as a video editor. For those of you who don't know what I do outside of YouTube, I do that. I work as a video editor for my own post stuff.
I'm a video engineer now. I think I know how this fucking works.
Speaking out of an engineer, like if I wasn't a computer science engineer, I wouldn't speak about Elon being an idiot. But as an engineer, yeah, I'm going to call him a fucking idiot because he does do idiotic statements.
This is why, as a cybersecurity engineer,
Mutahar clearly wants the prestige of being perceived as an engineer, given that he's been calling himself an engineer for the past 10 years. And he uses this title to make himself more authoritative.
But I'm an engineer. I know how this stuff is going, so I'm not even speaking out of pocket right here, okay? If you want to disagree with me, feel free, but you're actually wrong. As somebody who is a computer, engineer, somebody who understands computer code, for instance, hearing Elon talk about computers and anything code related is actually mind-bogglingly stupid. Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today's video is brought to you by Common Sense, which unfortunately isn't so common anymore. We're also bringing you a side sponsor as well, known as Objectivity, research, and bringing things up in good faith. This is something that the subject to today's video absolutely lacks.
This is a video I legitimately never thought that I would make. Not because I never thought that people would turn tide against Mutahar. I kinda had in the past, but it was really just because his content kinda got boring. I originally watched Mutahar for deep web browsing and exploration of urban myths in video games, stuff like that. I'm a SomeOrdinaryGamers OG, I guess you could say. Seeing the direction that his content turned, as well as me never having interest in a single episode of his podcast, I kind of figured that inevitably there would be some sort of a downturn of at least his fan base or his numbers. But I never expected this. If you're someone that's new to the channel, my name's That's Weird Bro, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Mutahar, SomeOrdinaryGamers, and the fact that the downfall of his career is effectively now happening because he lied about his software engineer credentials.
I'm an engineer, okay, not a fucking, physiologist, not a virologist or anything like that. Molecular modeling, that's cool, baby. I don't know anything of what you're talking about, but you keep doing what you do, boo-boo.
Now, for most people, this would kind of be a nothing burger. If a YouTuber lied about what school they went to or what they majored in or what jobs they worked for, it really would not be that big of a deal. But the problem is that most of his opinions were stanced from a level of legitimacy in saying, I am an engineer, I am well-knowledged in this field, I'm someone that knows better than the layman. So that way, whenever he gave you opinions, basically, whenever he gave you his stances on things and you agreed, you would feel like you had a more knowledgeable opinion, like because of who it was sourced from, in a way, who you sort of got confirmation bias from any of his videos when it came to different topics. And this was a built-in strategy with the way that he made his videos. It was intentional for him to effectively tell the audience what they wanted to hear, but to say it from a point where he made himself sound more legitimate, made himself sound more knowledgeable. Because Mutahar doesn't seem like he's just satisfied with the fame of being a multi-million subscriber YouTuber. Mutahar seems like he needs approval, like he needs a higher level of success that being a YouTuber doesn't provide. That's why he tells people he's a day trader. That's why he tells people he's an engineer. Because just telling people I make videos for a living isn't enough. And it feels like he puts on this disingenuous persona. In the big 2025, despite the fact that this guy has multiple million subscribers and he has as much money as he does, he still tries to make himself out to be the everyman. And he genuinely did want to convince people.
Now, for those of you who don't know, I think a lot of you do, I think a lot of you longtime viewers know, YouTube is not my job. It's not my sole source of income, and it's not exactly the thing I need in order to afford my Subway sandwiches and live under the roof that is my house. Now, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people who have a big following on this platform don't exactly have it. This is primarily their source of income. That's not to say that they haven't diversified, but for a lot of people, this website is their job. Now, I'll be real, since this isn't my job, I'm not beholden to the YouTube algorithm to actually, again, afford my Subway sandwiches, The yellow Dolan is a scary thing for a lot of YouTubers, right? When they work hard on a video, they upload a video. However, since I have a job out of the platform, I can pretty much talk about whatever the fuck I want. Again, not like I care. This isn't my job. If a video does well, good job. If a video doesn't do well, tomorrow's a whole new fucking day. And that's kind of the logic that I have on my channel. It's also why you don't see channels, it's also why you don't see me consistently upload specific series anymore. For instance, virus investigations. We do virus investigations. Not all of them are called virus investigations. Sometimes, I'll be very informative on something. Sometimes I'll just meme about something if I'm talking about computer malware. When it comes to the deep web, yeah, we haven't done an episode for a bit, and it's purely because it goes back to the same systemic formula, right? Where it's like, oh, Hitman website, porn website, weird Reddit board, formulaic. Unless I have a banger of an episode, then I'll stretch it out, edit it up, post it for you guys. That's kind of how it goes. If not, I'll probably play something like SWAT 4 or a video game I'm interested. Speaking of video game content, I don't like doing Let's Plays, but I'm working on something related to Yakuza as well. So it's kind of like my Metal Gear video, where I sort of sit down and
that he was just one of us, just somebody that wanted to do YouTube as a hobby and then ended up blowing up and making it successful, etc. But he was somebody that was always going to have more of a higher chance of success. His father apparently was a doctor, and he laments the fact that his father had to go to medical school twice, completely forgiving the fact that most of us could not afford to ever go to medical school once.
My dad would be a great friend with your dad. Let me tell you, my dad's baseness started kicking in after his first round of medical school. You know what I mean? He was just I want to think that me and him had like the same sort of upbringing. I just went into engineering, and he was like, I guess I'll just be a fucking doctor, I guess. And that's like that's where like sort of we started, like the baseness started, I guess, sort of brewing from then in, like in our respective like lives.
And on that note of not being able to go to medical school once, please make sure you like and subscribe in case my children ever do want to go to medical school. Thank you. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due. The person that is going to be most responsible for most of the sources and clips played in this video is Nikandros. He did an excellent video on his channel going over that Mutahar pretending to be an engineer over the last 10 years. And this is mostly my reaction, my thoughts on that as somebody that used to be a Mutahar viewer. If you want the full context, all the full information, please go check out Nikandros' video. Thank you. Attached to that video, Nikandros had also done a timeline. Basically, he went through Mutahar's channel, and while this may seem a bit obsessive, it really only took somebody over the last 10 years to do just a little bit of effort to put these lies together. Went through Mutahar's videos and basically pieced together everywhere that he had said that he had worked, effectively creating a illusory resume, if you will, of places that Mutahar has said that he has worked. And if you read it, it's unreasonable to imagine all of these things happening within the lifespan of one person. You read in like 2015, he was coding bank applications, which would have been before 2012. He considers himself a video engineer, but also works as a regular engineer. He's calling himself a video editor who has a film degree, saying that he works in film and TV. But then he also claims that he's qualified in computer forensics and saying that YouTube isn't his real job. And this is all within 1 year on this timeline. He goes on for pages and pages breaking down Mutahar's inconsistent lies regarding his career and his alleged skills, things that he should know how to do, etc. And while a YouTuber fudging their resume, like I said before, should not be the biggest controversy on earth, the fact that it is somebody that has previously talked about so many controversies related to tech, YouTube drama, etc., and posited himself as a figure of authority because of his previous alleged work experience, and now we find out that all of that work experience was fake, yeah, I feel disappointed. I'm somebody that used to be a legitimate fan of his, and whenever I would watch him talk about technological topics, I would take his opinions, with a little bit of with respect, because I thought that he was someone that was a bit more knowledgeable. Now, not to say that I necessarily formed my opinions just to match with Mutahar's or whatever. Not like I was like his biggest fan or nothing. But I was somebody that did watch his videos, and it was at least like interesting to hear his perspective on things. But now, knowing that every bit of his perspective has been completely like undermined due to his lies, it is incredibly sad. Mutahar feels like somebody who's stuck in an old world. And by that I mean, he has what most people consider to be like the most loved job on earth. He gets paid to talk about video topics that he loves. He does a podcast. He does videos on subjects that he wants to talk about, and he gets paid to do it. He accrues views and money off of past videos that he made years prior, and is ultimately like constantly making money based off of just the revenue stream of his channel. Even if YouTube is not his only job, YouTube is still a thing that is constantly making him money. And in comparison to every other job, it is one of the most low impact and easiest, you know, in terms of like physicality, things like that. He instead wants to steal the valor of being an engineer or somebody that works in film and TV, which, yes, are incredibly great fields. If you're somebody that is trying to become an engineer or is an engineer, or you're somebody that works in film and TV, more power to you. I respect that incredibly so. But the problem is assuming that it's only jobs like that that have any status. Like, that is an incredibly subjective view of the world, and ultimately will lead you to being disappointed with many people when you interact with them and you don't find out they have these well-to-do jobs. Mutahar is not satisfied with being what most children consider to be their dream job. He's not satisfied with being a YouTuber that talks about whatever he wants to talk about and plays games on stream. That's not enough pride for him. He needs to pride himself in the fact that he is I don't know, he is a creative working in film and TV. He's a day trader. That he's all of these things that by technicality I'm sure he is. But in 2020, GameStop made a bunch of us day traders, and so did Dogecoin and whatever the fuck. And Mutahar, as much as I used to love you, I gotta make this comparison. You sound just like pirate software. Faking credentials. Saying that you're working on projects that you're not really working on. It's the same Lolcow isms that you call out other people for, and yet you are just as guilty. It's shameful. And the fact that you're somebody that makes as much money as you do, that now has, through fake credentials, given yourself as much online influence as you have, and then you treat it like this. You squander it like this. And now it makes his credibility from every previous controversy he's ever gotten in incredibly washed up. Whenever the whole Nux Taku thing happened, I kind of just didn't pay attention. I was like, whatever. Yeah, he's doing a podcast with that freak, but maybe Mutahar didn't know anything. Now I start seeing these clips of some of the videos they were doing together, and I'm like, oh, nah.
We're not doing the podcast anymore. It's done.
Why?
We're supposed to film on Tuesday. Well, there's a couple reasons for it. A lot of that was obviously some of the Shad stuff too, because we were kind of sitting there, we're like, me and Caleb, we were just like, it's weird. We haven't done like a full background look onto what his content is or anything. Obviously, I was on a few collaborations with him when he was doing like fucking memes and like the game shows with like 15 fucking creators.
You probably shouldn't be showing, porn like that on a website where, I know it's censored or whatever, but even censored stuff, like you probably shouldn't be showing that.
Wait, you showed porn in those videos?
I mean, Nux's whole thing on YouTube is like porn reactions, right?
Yo, what is happening, gamers, and welcome back to another video. My favorite series has returned at long last. Me showing cursed memes to my friends and torturing them. Mutahar, welcome!
What's up, buddy?
This is the 5 rules of handling your younger sisters.
What the?
These are the 4 younger sisters.
Oh. Bro, they're fucking exceptionally young. Jesus Christ.
These are the little sisters, by the way. First rule, hug your little sister every day.
Okay, it's fine, okay. It's just hug her for at least 10 seconds. There's nothing wrong with a hug. Yeah, it's fine.
No, the third rule isn't any weirder, so you don't have to worry.
Oh. Oh. Sniff,
Make sure to sniff your younger...
Mutahar can't have been in these videos, interacted with Nux Taku in the way that he was, and did not know that he was some type of creep. And the fact that he then later acts as if he was all innocent and didn't know these things, and then tries to distance himself from any of those things, wait, what? He was showing what? Oh no. Like, the fact that he tries to play that card after being in those videos, he either is trying to maintain that he has no common sense, he cannot put 2 and 2 together, or that he's just lying. Like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be as good faith as others. He's lying to his audience to distance himself from Nux Taku. Which, hey, I guess at least good on him for distancing himself from Nux Taku. But point was standing, Mutahar, when you were friends with Nux Taku, you were friends with him knowing how much of a weirdo he was. He's clearly some anime-obsessed freak, and whenever you saw some of the things that he was showing you, it should have been an indication of his character. You were friends with him with this knowledge already in your head, and it never changed you before. Whenever the public told you to change, whenever the public made you think that these things were bad, that's whenever you tried to apologize. That's whenever you tried to distance yourself. And it ultimately made you look like a fool. And now you're looking like a fool again, because everything that you ever stood for was a throne of lies. And as an ex-Mutahar fan, as somebody that is disappointed in him and wants the YouTube landscape to be a better place, I hope all of you will like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to be consistent, trying to make videos that while I may cover the slop tuber esque topics, I do try to put some work into these things. I do try to give my genuine thoughts, try to be good faith about my approach to these things, while also giving enough of the information for you to, be able to direct yourself towards the proper sources and truly educate yourself. I hope all of you enjoyed this video, and if you can, just try to have a great rest of your day. God bless you, and peace out.